Good evening, YouTube community. This is Angelus21241. I apologize for the small inconvenience for I wasn't on here for a few months, but I was busy moving into my new house, and I am all moved in here now, and things are going pretty good. I just got my computer all set up. So, to make up for all the time I missed out, I know you guys have been waiting for a good scary story on here, so to make up for the time, we're going to be doing 3 stories this afternoon. Well, I'll do the third one later on tonight, because I got some other stuff I want to do. I do plan on going to see Man of Steel. Woo, woo. Alright, enough rambling. We are going to do 2 stories right now. It's going to be 2 of them from the Holder series. I know that a lot of you guys like that. So, without further ado, let's move along. Oh, and one more thing. You guys need to ignore all the dislikes that are on my channel on some of my videos. There are 2 Minnesota Burns fanboys who are attempting to attack this YouTube channel. Whatever you guys do, do not feed them. Because I'll find out who they are eventually, and I'm going to block them. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit someone who calls himself the holder of madness. The worker will then bow formally, with his hand tucked under his chest, and then motion for you to follow into a waiting room. He will leave and the lights will go out. When they return, 13 seconds later, you'll be standing in a dirty hallway with cuneiform scratching on the walls. As you walk, the scratches will gradually change to resemble an alien writing. Attempting to decipher the writing will send you into writhing agony for the rest of your mortal days. As you reach a black orb shimmering with liquidity, you must then speak. We are all mad, for you are the bringer. If the orb comes to resemble a doorway, enter. If the orb begins to rotate, you'll be dragged into the nether. In the following chamber, made of black, twisting coral, stands a figure ever changing. In him, her, in him, her, or it, you will see all men, all women, children, animals, creatures, beasts, horrors that exist. It will not recognize your presence unless you extend your left hand and say, I swear an oath to Koth, may the tower ever stand. At that time he will cease his changing long enough to place his hand on yours, and your soul will be torn out of your body and placed within a numbered humanoid skull resting on a pile to his left. Touching that skull will bring you to the foyer of an ancient temple, lying in the sands of Mesopotamia. The skull is object 61 of 538. It must converge once more. But remember, they must never come together. Wow, that was actually a pretty good one. Never even read that one myself. Alright. Let's do this one. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, look around carefully. Look for any workers eating a meal. Look for the one who appears to be full or at least almost done. For asking one who has not eaten may result in you being eaten for lunch. Ask that worker to see the holder of the flesh. In a muffled voice full of food, the employee will point you to a dead cow in the middle of the room that wasn't there before. The cow will be belly up, with a large open gash from neck to crotch. The worker will then gesture you to go inside it. As you crawl inside the dead cow, you will slip inside a tight, fleshy tube. The muscular reflexes beyond the slimy film forcing you along the way. Try to stay in one position, as too much movement may cause you to be ejected from the tube rather violently into a toothy maw, which will chew on your body until you are nothing but pulp. If you are exited through the correct end, you will fall into the floor of an ornate cathedral of bone, flesh, and organs. Eyes of many sizes will peer at you from many spots. In the back, the floor arches a bit up and down, the wide rib cage holding back massive lungs and a large heart. Inserted into the back wall is a huge glass jar, suspending a gigantic, pulsating brain in fluids. Its long, thick nerves hang like spider webs all along, stretching to the walls beside it and to the ceiling far above. Without warning, two very large, very long, muscular, skinless arms with clawed fingertips emerge from the walls. Both arms will grab you whether you attempt to flee or not. You cannot escape the grasp. The brain will not respond to anything you say or do, except for one question. If you do not or cannot ask your question, you will be torn piece by piece and forced to stay alive and feel every moment a pain, while being reassembled into the fabric of the living cathedral. Never quite dead, but never quite alive. Unable to scream, though you want to badly. You'll live as one with the living cathedral for all time. The question you must ask before suffering this cruel fate is, why do they despise life? Without pause, the brain will then open your skull painlessly. With but a tiny pinch itself, it will insert a pinch of itself into yours. You will then realize in the most thorough detail every bit and every piece of what makes life. Life, all of mankind's knowledge, achievements, and progress will be rendered completely and utterly useless compared to this. This has driven many quite mad. If you cannot handle it, you shall share their fate, clawing apart your own brain and scattering your thoughts throughout the cosmos, never to reassemble again. But you must stay calm and focused, for this information is quite possibly the most tightly held secret in all of the known and unknown universes, and you should never be shared in that blah. But you must stay calm and focused, for this information is quite possibly the most tightly held secret in all the known and unknown universes, and should never be shared with anyone but a true God, lest you invoke man's early despise. If you yet still hold your resolve, the brain will let you go. Do not dally, as the brain is always tempted to add more flesh to his own. Escape through the way you came in. As you slide along, you will stop at a dry dead end. You will find yourself under the covers of your own bed afterwards, with your feet on your pillows. That piece of knowledge is Object 79 of 538. Life is what you make it, so make it well. But remember, they must never come together.